343 may have just answered our request to end the Halo content drought. Also, we have a new infinite weapon reveal, plus the Xbox Series X is suffering shortages, and most likely a lot of us aren't going to be able to get it. And Halo Infinite may be releasing in spring after all, and potentially an anonymous 343 employee is leaking details about the game. Guys, we have so much to discuss here, but before we jump into it, be sure to smash that like button so hard it turns blue, as it helps boost the video up the YouTube search result. And hell, if you want, join me on the journey of following Halo for over 9 years. Just hit the subscription button and notification bell to get instantly updated on all new HaloFollower videos. Alright, let's jump into it. This video is supported by Audible. Snag yourself a free Halo audiobook right down in the description below. Firstly, let's discuss the new pre-ordering made available, the game's new features, rumors, and confirmed fake leaks, and more. So, I made it clear that I'm glad that they delayed this game. Yeah, it's disappointing, but it's not as disappointing as a bad Halo launch. Well, recent rumors claim that the Xbox One version of the game would be cancelled and that the game would be pushed back as far back to 2022. Thankfully, this was confirmed fake by 343, although these rumors from VGC did explain how the cheaper $300 version of the Xbox Series S is struggling loading Halo Infinite's open world and needs serious overhauling that they're now currently working on. And with that delay message that they showed us a while back when the game was announced to be delayed, it did kind of hint at some problems in development aside from what's going on this year. Although a separate and much more recent anonymous Twitter account was created and started spilling out some unconfirmed details about Halo Infinite, although it's very vague, but this person, Quillen, may be an anonymous employee at 343 and has stated that essentially the game has got upgrades and new features since what we saw in the reveal back in July, and that when the game is released, it's going to be changing everything. He personally said, "We're definitely taking our time to perfect this now that we got the delay. And it's all worth it, trust me, I wanted the delay to happen." Of course, take this with a grain of salt, but I sense the pressure that 343 has had from working at home since March during crunch time has stressed out many employees, and they should not be working super hard or long hours. With that being said, Halo Infinite has been rumored to be releasing December 31st, 2021 on Amazon, but for me, this has always been obviously a placeholder, as the same thing was said for 2020, December 31st would be the release. So obviously, I don't think a game is ever going to release at the very end of December, especially after Black Friday. It doesn't make sense, and especially after Christmas. And community manager Sketch said on Twitter, "PSA, we haven't locked on release for Halo Infinite yet. Anything you see on a retail site is just a placeholder or speculation." If they do release the game by March next year though, as they kind of did with Halo Wars 2 releasing it in spring, honestly, they should start marketing in full swing right now. 343 may have actually responded to the end the content drought trend in the Halo community. Very recently, I made a video about how Halo Infinite is in danger and a message to 343, and for 17 minutes, I basically went on all the reasons why it hurts the game. If you haven't seen the video, it's so worth watching, link down in the description. But the big reason why Halo Infinite was delayed was because, in my opinion, I think it's because they showed off stuff and we responded negatively enough for them to say, hey, let's hold on release and let's delay it so we have more time to iron these things out. When I first saw Sean W's video on the topic of ending the content drought, obviously I got inspired to make my own version, and he told me not to give him credit, but I think everyone knows that he started it. But it's not super important because all of us have this frustration because we don't want to be left in the dark any longer. And it was about 2 days after Sean W's video and about 8 hours after my own video, and there is some possibility that this was unrelated and already in there, but it pretty much addresses the content drought. They say, "We covered quite a bit in this community update, but I recognize that many of you were also probably hoping for some Halo Infinite news. Trust me, we're as eager to share as you are to see and hear more. With the extra time being factored into our development schedule, we're still working through adjustments to our community and marketing plans." Keep note of that right there. Once all of these pieces are realigned and we can share and show things that live up to the bar the team is working hard to achieve, we certainly will. We appreciate the outpouring of support and are excited to share more down the road. It takes lots of time and effort to coordinate reveals, and the change in Halo Infinite's release window has meant that our messaging roadmap has had to shift around too. All of this comes with the wild nature of game development, even on the community side of it, but please know that we'll share cool Halo Infinite news as soon as it's ready. So to summarize, basically, with the delay, they have to get ready for a new marketing plan due to the delay. Keep in mind at this point, there is no estimated release window. We don't know what time next year the game will drop, and 343 doesn't know either, apparently. But I'm hoping with the help of Sean W. and other YouTubers, as well as my own video, that 343 sees all the reasons why holding a game in the dark does far more damage than it does good, basically so everyone understands exactly why the content drought is damaging Halo. It's exactly the reason why the game was delayed and is being improved on. We need to see more so that 343 has more hindsight and can change things before the game releases. But moving on, we have other Halo news. We have a roster of brand new Halo Infinite figures revealed by Wicked Cool Toys. All of these sets include game add-ons, so there's probably some cool unique weapon skin codes or voice sets for multiplayer and code form on or inside these boxes. The first set is Chief with an assault rifle. Also the pilot here, he looks super derpy and accompanied by the Bulldog shotgun. We also have the Banished Brute Captain, and probably is the best looking toy in this reveal. Scratches and detail are really refreshing to see. I'm not really crazy about the little Lego or Mega Block groves here in the armor, and I'm really hoping they get rid of that in the final game. But there's something up here, probably dual Brute plasma rifles, maybe some type of equipment like a jetpack or some armor piece. But I have to wonder for this set what exactly the in-game code is. Also, we have the standard Mark 7 armor, likely the default armor we will get in Halo Infinite multiplayer. And here is the standard Marine, taking kind of the classic design from Halo 3 mixed in with 4 and 5s. Also revealing a brand new weapon is the Jackal sniper called the Stalker rifle. This is probably just basically the new beam rifle for Infinite. I love the red shade, and I can't wait to see this actually in first-person gameplay. But in other news, out of the blue, Microsoft confronted ZeniMax Media, got in a deal, and bought them. This is the parent company of Bethesda, by the way, including huge franchises like The Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and Doom. So Microsoft owns all those games now. This is incredible news for Microsoft. It's kind of shooken up the entire video game industry right now. Buying a huge stake of well-recognized series in just one deal is just kind of shocking, and I think Microsoft is going to be able to handle these franchises really well, and with the increased budget, games like Elder Scrolls 6 I think will improve, as the director said at Bethesda, and games will still be developed and published by Bethesda, so they're staying kind of independent. Plus, Bethesda's games will be on the Xbox Game Pass, adding more value to that. Honestly, I'm just really intrigued by how Netflix has been carried over to video games. That's the Netflix of games. But funny enough, even though they own other games like Deathloop and Ghostwire, this is crazy, Microsoft is still allowing those games to have PS5 timed exclusive status. So Microsoft is so chill now, and with Halo no longer being an exclusive to next-gen Xbox, being on the Xbox One as well as next-gen and PC, I wonder how soon that Microsoft will become so progressive that they'll just, release Halo on the PS5 as a cross-platformer. I'd honestly give it 4 years before that happens, but I think it's honestly heading that direction. But speaking of consoles, God, this year really has snuck up on us. If you haven't pre-ordered your Xbox Series X, bad news, it's sold out, all right? The game console is releasing only in a month right now, and the Xbox Series X pre-orders are already sold out virtually everywhere on Microsoft, Amazon, Walmart, GameStop, Newegg, you name it, all right? Even if you did pre-order on some sites like Amazon, you may have got this email like Brad Sams got, where in a nutshell, they oversold copies. There's too much of a high demand for these new next-gen consoles, and there are a lot of wacky things just generally going on right now, and it's probably due to the fact that things have been so weird and disorganized this year all over the world. But the PS5 is coming November 12th, whereas the Xbox Series X is dropping 2 days earlier, November 10th. Both consoles, in my opinion, are kind of lacking the strength that the Xbox One or PS4 or 360 had, those earlier generations had at launch. Even though the next-gen consoles are obviously superior, I don't know if they're absolutely superior enough to make sense for most games to be upgraded quite yet. And considering the status of the economy, I just don't know if putting down $500 is quite justifying it, considering that Halo isn't even releasing along the Xbox Series X. Guys, if you want to learn more about Halo history and extended lore, then be sure to snag yourself a free Halo audiobook linked down in the description. And it's super easy. If you just turn on your audiobook on the way to work or school, you can essentially learn about Halo while you're just doing things you'd be doing anyway. So guys, what do you think about the content drought? Do you have any response to 343's response to us? And what do you think about the new toys and Microsoft buying Doom? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. And also be sure to check out Sean W. He's going to totally go viral one day, probably very soon. And he's an up-and-coming Halo YouTuber, and you should definitely check him out. Link down in the description. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next one soon. You stay safe out there, all right? Peace.